everybody, it's your girl Jada Reeds here, aka Diamond, and we are back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the books that I plan to read in March. But first, if this is your first time seeing my face or knowing of my existence, my name is Diamond, aka Jada Reeds, and on this channel I like to do reading vlogs, book reviews, and everything in between. If that is something that you might be interested in, or if you just like my personality, I think you should consider subscribing. We have a lot of fun over here. I've made a lot of friends so far. I'm really happy with the channel and where it's going, and I would love to have you join me. All right, so let's get straight into the video. All right, so first of all, I done ranted and raved about how I don't do TBRs, but I have to say, aside from a couple of books, I pretty much stuck to my February TBR. So, and with being so busy with other things that I have going on outside of my booktube channel, TBRs might be something that I might have to add and incorporate into my life, because knowing that I had that set of books to work on for the entire month of February really helped me out. So I think I'm gonna just continue on that train, but it still might be a little sporadic book here and there. But at the same time, I didn't negate from the list, right? So I think I'm gonna just stick with that. All right, so without further ado, let's just get into these books. Spoiler, because this video is going up first, I did not finish, however, Cast by Isabel Wilkerson. This is a did not finish, but it's not a will not finish. I'm still slowly working my way through, and I'm just gonna say that this book is gonna follow me into March. I don't want to say anything else about it. That's all I'm gonna say. So this is one of the books for March, but we have brought it into March from February. I've talked at length about this book already on some of my previous videos, so if you want to know how I feel about this, go back and watch those, and I'll talk about it more for my February reading wrap up. So I don't want to talk about it right now, but this will be a part of March. And here, and these are actually in no particular order, but I did curate this list based on the emotions and feelings that I felt from February. February was a very dark reading month, and so I wanted some light. So that's what these books kind of, I feel like, are gonna give me. Aside from Cast, the only light I'm getting from Cast is enlightenment. All right, we have first up The Vulnerables by Sigrid Nunez. If you are new here, Sigrid Nunez was on my favorite books of 2023 with her book, What Are You Going Through? And I love that book so much, and so of course I have to tap into her latest novel that was published last year, The Vulnerables, and we're gonna read the jacket for The Vulnerables. It says here, elegy plus comedy is the only way to express how we live in the world today, says a character in Sigrid Nunez's ninth novel, The Vulnerables. The Vulnerables offers a meditation on our contemporary era, as a solitary female narrator asks what it means to be alive at this complex moment in history, and considers how our present reality affects the way a person looks back on her past. Humor, to be sure, is a priceless refuge. Thinking about all the books I read in February, it's actually equally vital is a connection with others, who here include an adrift member of Gen Z and a spirited parrot named Eureka. The Vulnerables reveals what happens when strangers are willing to open their hearts to each other, and how far even small acts of caring can go to ease another's distress. A search for understanding about some of the most critical matters of our time, Nunez's new novel is also an inquiry into the nature and purpose of writing itself. I already know that this is going to be really good, and I think it's going to be really good for my spirit. It's really what I need, and so I was just really drawn to it. It's at the top of my bookshelf, and I said I need to go ahead and read this, because What Are You Going Through really made me feel something in the best ways. Like, it was a sad book, but it was still a good book. A good book for that empathy muscle to be flexed, and for that friendship muscle to be flexed, and just for that hope, to have hope and decency. I'm just looking for more decency in human kindness, and I think that that's what I'll get from reading A Secret New Nest this month. All right, and then we have Anthony Bourdain's Kitchen Confidential. Two of my favorite booktubers have read this book. We have Nathan has read this book, I think recently. I don't know, I might have missed a vlog where Nathan has talked about this book. I don't know, but also Yenna over at A Modern Ajuma has also read this book and loved it. So I want to read this book because they read this book. I'm not gonna lie about that. So this is Anthony Bourdain's. I think this is his first book. I don't know what it's about though. I think it's about how he feels about the restaurant industry in New York. I think I'm right about that. So let's see. There's nowhere that tells me what this book is about. Oh, we can read the acknowledgments really quickly. Let's read the acknowledgments and see if we can get a feel for what the book is about. So portions of this book have appeared previously elsewhere. Much of the From Our Kitchen to Your Table and a few other stray bits of business appeared in the New Yorker under the title Don't Eat Before Reading This. The Mission to Tokyo section appeared first in Food Arts. Okay, this is him telling us thank you, or giving a thank you to where some of these pieces came from in the book. But I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I just think I'll read this little piece on the back. It says, a deliciously funny, delectably shocking banquet of wild but true tales of life in the culinary trade from Chef Anthony Bourdain, laying out his more than a quarter century of drugs, sex, and haute cuisine, now with all new, never before published material. Oh, and I got a special edition book, an updated edition book. So as you can see from that little blurb, that's what this book is going to be about. And may he rest in peace. I loved Parts Unknown. I love Anthony Bourdain Parts Unknown. I used to watch it when I was a kid, and I just always have liked his very mysterious guy, and all of the different places that he traveled and the different cuisine that he would intake on camera. I just loved it. He would eat some really weird things and some really delectable things, and I don't know. I just liked Anthony Bourdain. And I hate how it ended, but I'll get a little piece of him by reading this. And I'll get to peek into the mind of my two of my favorite YouTubers. Let's move on to the next book. All right, we have PANANA. This will be my first Vladimir Nabokov. I have Lolita on the shelf, but as you know, I have read in February. I ain't got time for Lolita right now. Can't do it. So I figured, let's do PANANA. I think this is a campus novel. So let's see. And look at this cover. Isn't it nice? This is one thing about me. Buying brand new books does not tickle my fancy. I am a very vintage girl. I'm a very used up. I love old things. They just make me feel inspired. And that's one of the main reasons why I go on a hunt for books at used bookstores, because you just never know what edition you might look upon. And I found this, and just like the updated edition of Kitchen Confidential, come on, you don't always have to buy a brand new book. So yeah, let's go ahead and read it. So we have Timothy Panin is a hapless professor at an American college, a 52-year-old Russian exile who loves sunbathing but has yet to master English. Panin is also a tireless lover who writes to his treacherous Liza, a genius A genius needs to keep so much in store and thus cannot offer you the whole of himself as I do. In this unique novel, Panin becomes the focal point of subtle academic conspiracies he cannot begin to comprehend, yet he stages a faculty party to end all faculty parties. Nabokov writes prose the only way it should be written, that is, ecstatically. John Updike. I don't know anyway, I like what this sounds like, and I'm excited to just dive into my first Nabokov. Then we have Don't Look at Me Like That by Diana Athill. This is another campus novel, I think, a Bills de Roman, coming of age type of situation. Who knows? I don't know. I just was looking on the website here, the New York Book Review or New York Review of Books website, saw this, but they didn't have it for sale anymore. So I put it in my Amazon cart. Excuse me. And then I took my daughter to get the Uzumaki, one of those Uzumaki books, and I saw that they had it in Burst Bookstore, so I just grabbed it there. And so yeah, I want to read it. All right, so this is a really long blurb, but I'm going to read it anyway. When I was at school, I used to think that everyone disliked me, and it wasn't far from true, confesses Meg Bailey at the start of Don't Look at Me Like That. Coming of age in the mid-1940s, Meg finds herself to be out of place wherever she finds herself. She is a non-believer in her father's parsonage, an artistic dreamer at her stuffy boarding school, a provincial in the worldly circles frequented by her best friend Roxanne and Dick, Roxanne's future husband. It is only when Meg, newly graduated from art school, moves into an untidy London rooming house alive with the sounds of crying children, sparing lovers, and even foreigners that she begins to feel at home. But ties to the past are not so easily severed, and Meg must disentangle herself from her troubled intimacy with Roxanne and Dick before she can begin to start living in her own way. Don't Look at Me Like That is the only novel by the famed memoirist and editor Diana Athill, who died in 2019 at the age of 101. Oh, she lived a full, long life. At once clear-eyed and compassionate, it is a story of making mistakes and making a life. I love it, can't wait. I can't wait. I think that this book in particular, for sure, I think all these books will be good in reading vlogs. I have no reading vlogs stocked up at the moment. When I tell you, I'll just talk about it in my February reading wrap up. I have to talk about it then. And then the last one. Remember, I refuse at the end of the year to have a video where I have to tell you guys I didn't read any of the books I wanted to read in 2024. And there was only 10 of them on the list. So remember, I said what I'm doing is all of those books that I have in that video, I'm going to incorporate one every month. And so here's the one that I'm going to be reading for March. And it's Cersei by Madeline Miller. So this is a retelling by the famed woman who wrote the Song of Achilles that I loved and adored. This one talks about Miss Cersei. This one's also very long, but I'll read the first bit, not the whole thing. In the house of Helios, god of the sun and mightiest of the Titans, a daughter is born. But Cersei is a strange child, not obviously powerful like her father, nor viciously alluring like her mother. Turning to the world of mortals for companionship, she discovers that she does possess power, the power of witchcraft, which can transform rivals into monsters and menace the gods themselves. Threatened, Zeus banishes her to a deserted island where she hones her occult craft, tames wild beasts, and cross paths with many of the most famous figures in all mythology, including the Minotaur, Daedalus, and his doomed son Icarus, the murderous Medea, and of course, wildly Odysseus. That's all I'm going to read. I'm not going to read anything else. That's all I'm going to read. And yeah, so these are the books. These are our books for March, which is my birthday month. My birthday is March 9th, and I'll be turning 32. I'm excited. All right, so here are the books that we are going to be reading for the month, and yeah, I'm excited. Or do I want to do the other way? Hold on, let me do it like this. All right, yeah, so those are the books I'm going to be reading for the month of March, and I'm excited. Nonetheless, I need a breath of fresh air. I probably only read like 10 pages of cast every other day. Like, that's how scary that book is for me. But anyway, yeah. So I'll talk to you guys about these books, of course, during the month of March. I think I'll be able to read more than this, but I wanted to leave room for me to just be able to choose some other books, you know, to throw in and embed in the meantime. So yeah, I plan on really diving into my fiction this month, diving into stories. And I have a special story that I definitely am going to be reading that I didn't want to mention. I don't know, I just didn't want to jinx myself. And it's a really long book too. So I'll talk to you guys about that during the month. Let me know what you guys plan on reading for this month, and I'll see you guys in my next upload. Deuces.